The Wandering Earth is probably the worst movie I've seen in since Mr. Nobody. Oh my god. Oh, what the fuck? There must have been like 16 different Chinese production companies working on this pile of shit, and they must have shot around the entire human's history worth of film for this film alone. Because there's just the biggest issue, the biggest problem with this movie, the most glaring issue is that it has a cut time of .30. Is that you will be seeing not the action scenes are incomprehensible garbage. Like, you will have a scene that is just there's so many characters too, and I don't know any of their names, and partly because the characters' names are in Chinese, and I don't understand Mandarin enough to be able to distinguish them. One of them, the name was Doduo, another one name was like Lu Ziji. I don't fucking know. But my god, what the fuck was going on? It's just the cut time just kills it. And I'm not talking about the running time of the film. I'm talking about how long an uninterrupted movement of the camera goes before we're cut and then a new thing is being shown, a new scene, or a new shot. I mean, sorry, that's the wrong term. A new shot. The time from one shot to another shot, the average duration of one single shot in the film is probably, before it was hyperbole, but honestly, it's around like 1 second. That being said, the film is a sci-fi film, so it piqued my interest, so I went to go see it. I missed 2 buses going to see it, so I had to take an Uber, or not an Uber, but a Lyft. It was pretty cheap. Lyft is always cheap. Lyft is like the retarded version of Uber, where like you take Lyft if you want to get a ride from somebody who's not even the driver under the profile with which the person is labeled that's coming to pick you up. They probably have a criminal record. They're probably gonna rob you. Yeah. Anyway, I had a nurse, so I didn't get robbed. That would have been better though, because then I would have had to fill out like some kind of police thing instead of go to this shitty fucking movie. Would have been better use of my money. But anyway, the film starts and we're given this it really sucks for subtitles because the first 5 minutes are just so fucking fast with the dialogue, and this film does subtitles badly. We have to establish a lot of like meta understandings of the film before we can even get into the fucking plot. Is that this film does subtitles in one of the worst way films do subtitles is that the subtitles are on the screen as soon as the character talks, and they are off the screen as soon as the character's done talking. So that means that you don't even get to watch the fucking film if you don't speak Mandarin, because you gotta be fucking having your eyes glued to the bottom of the screen, ready to read things. And also the placement of the subtitles is also very bad, because it's basically right at the bottom. Normally those subtitles, they'll lift them up a little bit so at least you can like peripherally see what the fuck is going on. Nope, not in this movie. Also, the subtitles are in very broken English. They use the wrong tenses of verbs. They use they're just bad. You can tell the translation was like run through Google Translate. They were fucking lazy. And then also the subtitles don't pop off the screen very well, so you can't see you can't fucking read them very well. It's hard to read them at certain times. And this film employs so many visual cinematographic, whatever the fuck, cinematic tricks that are like meant to like be spectacle, that make it just impossible to fucking tell what the fuck is going on and impossible to read. But everything I just told you is inconsequential, because you can watch this film and you don't have to understand anything any of the characters are saying, and you will understand it for the most part. Like, you don't need to listen to the characters. That's the sign of a bad movie, because the meat of the understanding of the movie should be in the way the characters communicate. But so much of this film is just left barren for the action. So my one final statement before we actually get into the plot is that this film goes about 5 minutes before every action scene. So the main style of this film is bunch of dog shit information, action scene, and then after that it's just maybe calm down or set up for the next action scene. Sometimes the entire time between the two action scenes will be set up for the next action scene. Other times it will just like you'll get a radio call and then fucking oh my god, there's an earthquake, holy fuck, everything's going to shit. At no point nobody says that. I'll probably reserve another video to talk about the propaganda and more sinister aspects of the film because there's a lot to really get into. This film is offensive to all of humanity, I believe. It really is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. But let's start with the plot. The plot is a man and his father and his son are out by the waterside enjoying a campfire, and the man is basically explaining to his son what's going to happen. I'm just going to go ahead and culminate the plot is with the totality of my information in this scene, even though what is told us in this scene is just fucking meaningless because we have as much understanding in this scene as the child does. And I think that's a cool aspect. I think that's cool that we understand the plot as the child does because the child is the one who's the plot is being told to, pretty much. And I think that's a cool strategy in storytelling. It doesn't pay out because I think that was unintentional, honestly. Anyway, the plot is we are at 2,200 something, maybe? I don't know. But the earth is gonna, or the sun is exploding and it's gonna fucking blow everybody up and we're all gonna die. So the earth needs to be put on course to another solar system. Now, obviously, this raises one huge question. How is it possible that the earth is gonna move out of the sun's gravity? What the literal shit? Okay. 2, we're moving a celestial body that is going to be victim to the gravitational pull of other celestial bodies. This is going to require an insane amount of like calculations, which we find out is the main problem of the film later on. The main plot problem, not the main story problem, or not the main meta story problem. We don't, as the audience, it's like whatever. But so basically, they build a bunch of pyramid jet engines on the earth, and all of humanity is subsumed in this task. Basically, the population gets cut down to 3.5 billion and everybody else is left to die. They don't really make that part that known. You see it in flashbacks of people getting vouchers to go underground. So basically, this movie, oh god, oh my god, I just remembered so much. So people get vouchers to go live underground in basically little communities underground under these turbines, and they're basically meant to be the labor force for the turbines slash jet engines to propel the earth. And now there's about 10,000 jet engines. There's gotta be 10,000 because in the movie they reference 4,771 go down at one point because of earthquakes. So there's gotta be like at least 10,000. I don't know. But you would think, okay, we're gonna have citizens who are gonna be needing to basically just be fucking dumb labor, not dumb labor, but pretty smart labor, making sure that we can keep these engines running for like 5,000 fucking years. Is that how long the Earth has to go flying around? Minus the fact that where's the atmosphere gonna go if the Earth is moving that fast? Like, is it gonna come out? I really don't know. Maybe it's gonna be there. That's fine. Whatever. How's the Earth gonna stay warm enough without the sun? I don't fucking know. They don't concern themselves with any of the science fiction in the science fiction movie. They don't give a shit. It's the dumbest science fiction movie I've ever seen. It's dumber than Mr. Nobody. Almost dumber than Mr. Nobody, but it's pretty dumb. But the first thing that we realize in the film is that the communities that live under these turbines or near them or whatever are like just basically debauched Yakuza-esque fuckers. Like we see a little bit of the school system, and they have like basically like Black Mirror-esque like outdoor CG windows that make you seem like you're outside. and that's cool. I really, the beginning of the story should have been just like the schoolroom education. That's what it should have been. It should have been schoolroom education of what our new society is like. But within fucking 13 years or 17, within like 13 or 17 years, no, 17, within 17 years, the entire fucking plan of them moving the Earth out of the solar system gets fucked up already. Within 17, they're supposed to be in travel for fucking 2,000 or 5,000 years, and they fucked it up in 17. How? I mean, the real reason is Chinese scientists don't know fucking rocketry, okay? Like, what the fuck were they doing? And they exclusively keep the United States out of this film. They're only referenced in one flag. All the other characters are either Russian, Australian, Chinese mix, and maybe there's like one British guy, but no fucking Americans are anywhere in this film. There's an English speaking robot, but I think it has a British accent. The Chinese are really ass mad at USA in this film. I gotta check my food. BRB. Okay, I'm back. I just got done eating. Oh my god. So we wake up with the main character, and he's like in one of those underground fucking vault-like cities, and he's breaks his sister out with some fucking stupid inflatable ball shit. This is the like one of the few patterns in the film. He breaks her out with some inflatable ball shit, and he's telling her like, I'm not gonna go back. So you think like, oh, so he's gonna escape to the guiding space station. Basically, the International Space Station in this movie has been turned into like a guiding beacon system for Earth to guide it through the cosmos. But a good fucking job they were doing. They couldn't even like trajectorize themselves to avoid Jupiter. So this is where the big problem is. 17 years go by, the Earth's getting too close to Jupiter, and Jupiter's just sucking it right in. This is kind of important for the story, because the dad was like, oh, someday we'll see the eye of Jupiter. It's not a storm, it's an eye, blah, 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 whatever. And this becomes important, and then they say something about, like, he's like, what's that? It's a fucking nitroglycerin or something, or whatever the atmosphere on Earth is made out of. The dad brings that up early on. This becomes important to the fucking MacGuffin solution problem, to the fucking dumb. Oh god, so dumb. So our main character, who steals his sister out of middle school. She's a middle schooler, mind you. She doesn't look middle schooler. She looks like she's 17, 16-ish. Honestly, she looks like she stars in Japanese adult videos, but I'm not going to comment any more than that. But in the film, it's established that she's in middle school at about fucking an hour and 30 minutes in. At about an hour in, we find out that they're not related by blood, but at no point in the film do they make out or do anything that's weird. One of the characters is implicated in having a crush on her, kinda, at the end of the film, but there's no romance in this film, and thank fucking God, because it would have just made the movie more offensively stupid. The film's about family and retardation. So we have a delinquent main character who steals a transport vehicle to drive around on the surface of the Earth, which at this point is basically just Arctic truckers. It's basically just like 50 feet of ice, probably even more so. And they just drive around basically loading shit to the big jet engines. And there's one near Guangzhou. I think they're in Guangzhou. I think that's it. Anyway, he just starts driving off somewhere with his grandfather's license, and then he gets arrested. And then his grandfather comes down to like try to bribe him out of jail. And then that doesn't work, so then they're in jail with an Australian guy, and it's all fucking stupid. And the dad tries talking to him, but the son is just a little fucking bitch. And then you find out that like the son's like, oh, you killed mom. Well, mom was dying of cancer, some gay incurable Chinese disease, so she didn't get to go to the underground bunker. The dad was lucky enough to be able to get 2 certificates, one for grandpa and one for the son. Now, mind you, 17 years are passed, and grandpa and the dad don't look a day older. So, I mean, other than the main character growing more facial hair, but he doesn't look older. Like, why even have 17 years go by? Why not? It just adds extra inconsistencies to a film that has just all inconsistency. Anyway, an earthquake happens that miraculously gets all of our characters out of jail while killing all the characters that were in the way of them getting out of jail. And the earthquake also, now this is, I'm actually surprised how fast I'm going through the plot, because this honestly took 30 fucking minutes. I felt like the plot moves so fucking slow, but oh my god. So basically an earthquake happens because Jupiter's too close, and 4,771 of the engines on Earth go down. Like, and when you see these things get like beat up by the earthquakes, you think like there's no fucking way they're even going to be able to get half of these things back online. Like, they are just fucking destroyed. Mind you, there's a weird situation that arises when you have a global effort, but then you have a single character story. At no point is this story about humanity coming together, making a sacrifice, or really pulling, like, just not on the scale that the film talks about. They do come together at some point to push a big thing. Oh god, that part was so fucking stupid. But yeah, so basically earthquake fucks up the Earth, Jupiter's sucking the Earth off, it's getting bad. Our characters decide to just try to leave. Like, everybody in the film, as the disaster is happening, they all say, I want to go home. Everybody says they want to go home. But nobody in the film, like, this must be like a Chinese saying or something, because, like, did they consider the underground, like, the people aren't old enough to consider their underground dwellings home, so why do they constantly say they want to go home? They're all just fucking crying saying they want to go. It's so annoying. Shut the fuck up. You're not going home. Home's gone. You're not. I hate Chinese melodrama so much. So eventually all the like a ton of transport vehicles are going to the big furnace gun, because they're trying to save it from getting destroyed by earthquakes, and then our main characters are going away from it. So far we have like loser main character, dumb loser grandpa, and then daughter, and then we have dad in space, because dad's on the space station. The three characters on Erath get fucking conscripted by the Chinese military to deliver, this has to be a bad translation, lighter core. They have to deliver lighter core to one of the engines, because that makes the engines go. Lighter core. Is lighter core the battery? Is it the fuel? What is lighter core? Lighter core is literally a MacGuffin. It's just a dumb orb that they put in the machine and it makes it go. There's no explanation of what the fuck it is. It's lighter core. Who gives a fuck? You're on a need-to-know basis in the Chinese military, and thank fucking God for that, because them explaining it would have just made me hate the film even more. Okay. I just need to check something. Okay, great. Yep. Okay. So, they travel from Guangzhou to Shanghai, which I'm pretty sure on a map is like 600 miles. And they travel this distance in about 3 minutes in the film. And then at some point, there are planes overhead, but Jupiter steals all of Earth's atmosphere, so the planes crash. And then our heroes have to go up a building, because they're like stuck in a crevice, and they have to like go in a building and then go up the elevator to be able to proceed. And they're gonna carry the lighter core with them. Mind you, the lighter core is like probably weighs 1,000 pounds minimum, and there's no real good way of dragging it. But they're gonna do that anyway. So they get into the building, and they attach like a pulley system. This is, oh god, they attach a pulley system on the bottom of an elevator because they're fucking retarded. Obviously that's not gonna hold, and this is where the next action scene happens. There's been a few other action scenes, but I'm just gonna ignore them. This is one of the worst. Basically, you have Grandpa and random character in the elevator shaft, and then you have the other characters are trying to get up. At one point, the son is like, they're like, oh, take the lighter core, then we'll take the people. And the guy's like, no, people before lighter core. People before lighter core. Like, it people first. He just, It sounds like a fucking child talking. It's so dumb and bad and so fucking cringy and oh god, and it's so fucking bad. God damn. So the daughter, everybody makes it but Grandpa and Nameless Soldier. Nameless Soldier sacrifices himself. The lighter core falls down the elevator shaft, and basically Grandpa is thrown out of one of the elevator shaft doorways, and he basically freezes to death and dies. Uh, it just, who cares? Like, it really sucked because Grandpa was like the not shit a little bit anyway compared to the son, and then the son is like, oh, later on to one of the military guys, he's like, when this is over, then we will resolve the issue of my grandfather's death and you killing him. And it's like, now I understand this is probably some like dumb military kind of like thing if you live in like a fucking dictatorship retard country where you think like, oh, that guy's responsible for your grandpa dying because he's part of the military and you got conscripted into doing this. But like, it's literally do the thing to save the Earth from going into Jupiter or just die. Like, what the fuck's the alternative, retard? Like, learn some maturity. Like, nothing in the film you do shows any kind of maturity until like the last 5 minutes, and even then, it's like, fuck off. But basically, a dumb kid blames somebody else for his dumb grandpa's death, even though like grandpa could have just fucking climbed up faster. Like, he didn't need to go slower than fucking rocks. Like, come on, dude. Basically, the next stuff that happens is there's a ton of melodrama with like the military, and they fucking shoot the lighter core that they've been dragging because the station that they were going to is literally so inoperable that they can't even like relaunch the engine. It's just fucked. So they just shoot it, and then our main character and Australian guy they find another transport. Oh, it like quick cuts to them in the transport, and then the guy in the transport from the airplane crash is like threatening to kill the daughter, and then it's like cutting all over the fucking place. It's cutting between scenes. Like there's one scene of them on the transport, and then there's the scene of them blowing up the lighter core of the military people, and then it's like cutting between them, and it's cutting so fucking fast, and the drama is resolved in like 3 seconds. The drama is resolved, and then the scientist guy is completely fine the rest of the film. He's not freaking out, and he's actually like the smartest dude in the film. But like for whatever reason, he was just gonna threaten to kill the girl because he's an incel. I don't fucking know. I have no idea. It made no sense. It just cuts, and then we're in an action scene, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And that's everything. Every single shot. It's like, when Grandpa's in the elevator, shot of the thing falling, shot of Grandpa getting pushed out. No, it's like shot of the thing falling with like fucking Dutch angle, shot of the rope, shot of fucking shot in between the camera moving. Like imagine if you filmed this with a camera that took photographs and the lens had to shut every time you wanted to film something. Like, this is what this film comes off as. It's just, there's so many fucking like cuts. It's insane. You can't comprehend it. So at this point, I honestly forgot what the fuck happened. There's a bunch of drama of like our dad and Russian man on the space station, and then basically the space station abandons Erath and fucking is just fucking off, and the space station's mission is now Helios Project, and it's got a bunch of seeds and a bunch of hibernating people, and it's just gonna go fuck off and reestablish a new Earth colony somewhere else because Earth is just fucked and they give up. So basically, Dad and Rocket Russian Man's new job is to get to the control thing, which is like a spinning thing in the middle of the space station. And this is where the film really starts, really starts ripping off 2001. There are so many shots that just feel like this is like, there's a robot man in the film on the space station, there's a robot AI, and like, I mean, it doesn't get any more obvious that it's like pretending to be the robot thing from 2001. Like, it's so fucking blatant. Like, it is. There's so much in this film that is just I've seen in so many other English American Hollywood films. Like, it's just, and it comes off as a film that saw what other films were doing, what other successful films were doing, but it didn't understand why those things were successful, and they just ape them completely, unabashedly, without even understanding why they're important. But let's move on. I don't even fucking remember what happens in the plot. It's so fucking dumb. So they go to Shanghai. They drive 600 miles, but they only have problems one time because that's when the action sequence needed to happen. And then their new orders are, well, we need to get to the equator. That's where the best engines are because we're just gonna do something stupid. I don't fucking know. They haven't even figured it out yet, but they're gonna go from Shanghai to Manila. I want you to look up on a map right fucking now. Go Google it. Go Google Shanghai to Manila or Indonesia. Just Google Shanghai Indonesia and look at that distance. They literally drive across the ocean. They drive across the ocean, which would probably take at least 3 days. This happens in about 5 minutes, like in the film time. I know they really didn't travel across it in 5 minutes, but like they just casually like, yep, well, we're gonna drive to fucking Indonesia now. Like this is our new plan. We got to get to the equator. That's where the best engines are. I mean, how else are we gonna save the Erath? You know, I mean, come on, this is genius. Oh my god, I want to die. So I don't even remember what happens. The dad gets inside the spaceship and then he finds out that like basically the space station has betrayed them and he's gonna take the rest of the humans away and he doesn't want to leave his son. So he like does some stupid shit. I'm just gonna cut to the ending because I don't remember all the. There's so much shit that happens in between now and the end. But basically, they have one final plan, which is they're going to concentrate one engine to shoot one beam that's gonna go and hit Jupiter, and it's gonna blow up the atmosphere of Jupiter, and this is gonna bounce the Earth away so that it'll escape Jupiter's gravitational pull. Now, mind you, it sounds like if we blow up, like with how you see them intermingling, it looks like it would also blow up Earth's atmosphere and it would be uninhabitable. And visually, what we see is Earth is should be uninhabitable, but for some reason the main character's alive at the end. How? I don't fucking know. This movie's fucking dumb. But yeah, so basically the dad tries to plead with like the Earth government, which is basically represented by a French guy, and he allows him to use global communication to get his daughter to use global communication. So basically his daughter is like, oh, it's a hand to do. I am so sad. Please please help me push the big thing back into the engine. We can blow up Jupiter and then we can go away. Please. Oh my god. The first time she does this, nobody gives a fuck. Actually, I think it's the dad on the global thing, and then like you see like tons of transport vehicles turn around. Now that was a cool moment. This is the one cool thing in the whole fucking movie. Everything else is retarded, but I thought that was pretty cool. It's like everybody else is like, I want to go home, and they're all like, oh, we got 7 days to live. They don't have 7 days. They have 5 fucking minutes to live. That's the reality. But they all think they have 7 days because of fucking bullshit magic. And then the people are like, well, what home do we gotta go back to? Well, let's go turn around. So somehow Dad inspires everybody to go back to their stations and basically just die trying to do absolutely nothing. And then after like so much action, they even have like this Star Wars scene, like the main character and the Australian dude are like trying to put the one thing back in place, and it's like the Star Wars action scene from Star Wars 3. I thought fucking like Obi-Wan and Anakin were gonna start fighting. It's so dumb. But anyway, they get the engine to be concentrated into one blast, and it doesn't reach Jupiter. It's like 9,000 kilometers off. So fucking one of the lady soldiers is dead from a pillar. Everybody's fucking like dying. All the characters that you don't know anything about are fucking dying. We have just regular science dude. We got fucking main character guy. We got fucking daughter, and then we got fucking Australian Chinese guy. And they're basically just like, well, we did whatever, and then a bunch of people show up and they push the pin in so they can shoot the beam, and they shoot the beam, and it doesn't go far enough, as I said, and then the dad's like, well, there's a bunch of fuel on this thing. So you think like, oh, he's just gonna like just manually pilot the space station into Jupiter to try to save his son. You think that's what's gonna happen? No, and first he like asks like the Erath like, hey, can I do this? And the French guy is like, no, this is fucking stupid. Objectively so. The French guy is obviously correct. And then the dad makes another speech, and the guy is like, oh, I kind of like, we're gonna go with hope today. I kind of like that hope thing. No, they said when they liked the Hope thing about him doing a global message to get people to listen to his daughter, who isn't his daughter actually. It's actually his like adopted niece or something, because like it's actually his dad's daughter. I don't know. It's so dumb. Anyway, the our dad hero on the space station throws a bottle of vodka on the robot, and that explodes, and then the entire command facility of the space station starts on fire. How did one little bottle like that have that much fire? I don't fucking know. Anyway, he goes into a small compartment to then start piloting the ship. He ejects the hibernation pods, and then he just flies the ship into the beam, and then the beam explodes with the fuel to blow up Jupiter's atmosphere, and then it hits Earth like a literal pile of vomit, and it hits our main characters who are not underground, even though they had 3 minutes to get underground, and they're like, you gotta get underground or you're gonna die, and our main characters are fucking visibly not underground, not even under any kind of protection, but then they somehow survive, and it's just the dumbest thing ever. And it's supposed to be this big sad moment because like the son's like, no dad, please, I'm not retarded anymore, come on. And then the dad's like, oh my mama Shinderu Jupiter, oh, and he fucking punks Jupiter gets pranked and blows up. And then the movie, it's like 3 months later, and then the son and the daughter are driving one of the transport vehicles, and the CGI, oh my god, I didn't even talk about the CGI. The CGI in this film ranges from passable to 2005 era video game pre-rendered cutscene. The problem is the first major CGI scenes that we see are within the first 15 minutes, and they look fucking terrible. It is so fucking bad. It's some of the worst CGI I've seen in recent years. Some of the CGI is pretty good though, but they really were, you know, picking and choosing where to use it good, where to not use it good. It's not fucking Alita. Alita was pretty consistent. Alita was like a 7+ in the CGI category. This movie, they couldn't even fucking dub the lips right. Like, the fucking people are under helmets and their lips are moving, but the sound is like off by 3 seconds. It's so bad. Just, oh my god. There's so much dumb shit. Everything about it is so funny. Everything that happens. And I'm not even commenting really on the sci-fi aspect of it. Like, I don't even care. It could be the dumbest premise ever if it's executed well. But it's like the dumbest premise, and it's executed horribly. The characters are retarded, and everything fucking sucks. Don't see this movie. It's Chinese propaganda about climate change. It acts as if climate change is a fucking immutable fucking thing that we can't do anything about, but somehow Chinese ingenuity is going to cause Earth to be rescued, and then fucking Chinese sacrifice is going to cause Earth to be rescued, because all the other races are portrayed as fucking dumb cowards except for the Chinese. Some of the Chinese are portrayed as cowards, but by and large the other races are super cowards, whereas the Chinese are at least pretty much doing their duty. Like, it's just so fucking offensive and dumb. And they really amp up the Filipinos as ladyboys thing in this film. They all talk like, they all have hype. I thought there was helium in the room. I thought there was fucking helium in the room when the fucking Filipinos were talking, because they had such a high voice. What the fuck? Why did they do that? What the fuck was going on? Fuck this film. Don't watch it. Don't let your friends watch it. Oh my god. Fuck it.